Hi, I'm Luann Worley, and I'm with Rockin Book Reviews, and I'm so excited today to have Rebecca J. Greenwood with us today. You grew up the eldest of 6 children. What were the pluses and negatives about being the eldest child?
Hi. I It was wonderful. I love having a big family. Um, I have wonderful parents, and they just made a happy home, and it was very secure. I was always able to come home and be safe, and so it was wonderful. Now, negatives, well, I'm not the best babysitter, and so mom would be like, "Hey, I'm going to the store, and watch the kids." And I'm like, "Bye," and then I would go back to my novel. So they survived. They're okay.
And that's the only negative?
Oh, there's Barbie.
Well, that's great. Um, Tell me about a couple of memories being raised in Texas.
I love Texas. I love the South. I love the people. I grew up in the Houston area, and it's very green, and I love that. I'm in a desert now, and I do miss the green and the lushness. Um, and like one of my strongest memories from childhood, though, is actually leaving Texas for a summer to live in Louisiana, and we still had our house in Texas. So mom refused to take the television. And so I was about 7, um, and excuse me, we were all very bored. And so we swam, rode my bike, and then we discovered the library, and that's how I became a reader. I had no television for a summer, and I became a reader, and that's just a fun story. And I also love Louisiana, so I just love the South. Gonna have to put some books there.
That's great. When we go to Florida, we go right through the middle of Texas. That's not so pretty.
And it's long.
It's long.
Very
When we
long.
get through Texas, we go, woo! That's great. Um, you are a multimedia artist, comic creator, a designer, and what led you to do these things? What
I
caused your interest?
I know. My dad says that I've never met an art I didn't love. The only thing I kind of don't do is play an instrument. But so I've always been searching for a way to be an artist and be an artist professionally. So I've been working professionally as a graphic designer, and that's how I've been making my living for the last 8 years. But I've tried being a comic creator, and it's very hard to make a living on it. I love doing it. I love comics. But yeah, it's hard to make a living, and I want to. So I'm going to try writing now and see if it'll work. I've just started my journey, so I have a few more books to put out.
Well, wow, your book is just amazing. I couldn't believe it was your first, novel that you'd written. So, um, do you do your own cover designing?
I did for my novella. So any book I'm going to self-publish, I will do the cover for. I've done covers professionally. But my publisher was like, we're doing the cover if we're publishing it. I was like, okay. So the cover for The Darkest Summer is done by Priscilla Chavez, and she did fantastic.
She did. I have to agree. So, but I'm excited to see more of your work.
Thank you.
Before you published your first novel, you worked for design as a graphic designer for a publishing company for 6 years, right? So tell me, what was the most valuable things you learned doing that?
You learn better. Well, I was already a designer, but I was able to work on books, and that was so exciting for me. I love books, and I love doing book covers. So what I really needed to learn, and I'm still working on always, is really capturing the genre. So when you're designing a book cover, you really want to capture not only the genre so people can look at it and know exactly what they're going to get in the book, but you want to capture the feeling of the book as well. And so that there's no question on the genre. And sometimes that's hard, especially when it's in a odd little niche. So always working on that, and also to make it as beautiful as possible.
Well, I can understand that, because right now there's so many genres that cross into many different directions. So, I was so impressed with your first novel, The Darkest Summer. What inspired you to write that novel?
It is a Regency retelling of Hades and Persephone, which is a Greek myth, and that is one of my favorite Greek myths. It's, got the dark, mysterious man doing something not very great. But you hope that they find love, and so in my novel they find love despite the fact that he abducts her.
I read that, but I read that in your bio, but I thought, I didn't pick up on it, as being a retelling. It wasn't until you brought it up that I thought, oh, well, okay. But you did such a better job. Okay. So you have a new novella, The Darkest Hour. Tell us about that. Is it follow-up of The Darkest Summer? Or?
The Darkest Hour is a prequel. So it is, and it's from the same world. So I didn't retell another Greek myth. I just took, my hero is Adam, and so he's the equivalent of Hades from Greek mythology, and Hades has 5 siblings. One of them is Hestia. She is the goddess of the hearth and the home, and she is, according to Greek myth, a virgin goddess. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. And so I gave Hestia, so she's Hester in my story, I gave her a love story. And she is an older woman. She's in her 30s and doesn't expect ever to get married, but she does find love in this little novella.
Oh, okay. So is this going to be a standalone, or are you going to have a series out of it?
I do have a series. I'm working on the next book. It's going to be called The Darkest Sea, and it is, in the first 2, I talk about Nicholas, their brother, who has been lost at sea. They think he's dead. He's not dead. He's going to be coming back. So Nicholas is the equivalent of Poseidon, but I'm also mixing up the myths, and so his story is actually going to be a retelling of the Odyssey by Homer, and he will be Odysseus coming back. He does have a wife. She has been secret to it from his family, and she's being crowded by suitors, and he has to take care of that. But if you know the original story of the Odyssey, Poseidon is actually an antagonist,
right,
to Odysseus in the Odyssey. So Nicholas is a bit conflicted.
That sounds exciting, and if it's anything like this one, nobody will guess it's from myths. So.
I'm trying to make it blatant, but no.
So is your next big project is your trilogy?
Yeah, and I'm going to have one after that, but I'm still working on the plot for that. But I'm also going to be starting a new series that I hope the first one will come out in April, but I haven't written it yet. I'm currently working on the plot, but it's going to be a new series. I'm going to self-publish it.
That is so exciting, and I think it's just fantastic. Like I said at the beginning, I was totally shocked that this was your first novel. It was just very well written, and it was just an exciting novel all the way through. So, is there a final word you'd like to say before we close off?
Well, I hope people enjoy the books. I hope to put out more.
Well, I'm looking forward to your next ones. That's fantastic. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was great to talk to you.
Okay, and until next time, I hope you explore the universe through reading. And goodbye.